Hello and welcome to my channel. My channel is dedicated to exposing Watchtower lies, deception and cover-up. My name is Marcy and I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses for over 30 years. I served as a regular pioneer for 10 of those years. I was first contacted in the door-to-door ministry back in 1987 and I finally left the organisation in 2022. This video is about what's happened this week as I've tried to talk to two of my witness friends about why I have left with one of them, and the other one who doesn't know that I have stopped going to the meetings, how I have tried to show her something to get her thinking and what happened when I did this. So some of you know that I did an interview with my friend Karen Saunders for her YouTube channel. She interviewed me, and during that interview she wanted to know how it was that I could have a YouTube channel, as I do, exposing the Watchtower when I'm not disfellowshipped and I'm not disassociated. And you know, she says that, or she felt at that time, that I was affiliated to the Watchtower Society. And I said, well, I explained that no, I have left the Watchtower Society. I didn't write a letter of disassociation to the church when I left that to become a witness, and I don't feel that I owe the Watchtower any explanation as to why I'm leaving. And I wanted to leave the door open so that I could still have communication with people who I love and care about. And until such a time as that changes at the hands of the Watchtower Society, that's the way it's going to be. If they find out about the channel, or if they, you know, decide to have a committee or whatever, and they decide to disfellowship me, then that's a different thing. And that will be their decision, of the friends, as to what they're going to do. But until such a time, I feel that this has been the best way, and this is the way that the Lord has directed me to go. So this week I have had contact with 3 of my Jehovah's Witness friends. And so the first one is the one who married the person who was disfellowshipped and ended up getting disfellowshipped herself. Now, she went through a very, very traumatic time, and I keep saying that I will talk about what happened to her. But she and he have been reinstated and are both attending all the meetings. And we've been very, very close friends for a lot of years. We've had a lot of holidays, we've done everything. She's been the closest person probably to me. All the time I've been in there. We spoke every day. You know, I used to go every day. She helped me with the children when they were little. You know, she took me under her wing when things were really bad, after a situation that I'd had that was bad. And I'd stopped attending the meetings, and I'd returned and joined a new congregation when the children were little. And she was the one who sort of came to my aid because I was really floundering. And we've been friends ever since that. So, you know, we've been friends the best part of, 30 years. So, I'm sorry, the bin men are here to fetch the bin, so there's going to be a bit of clattering going on. But yes, we've been friends all these times. So she's the one who does know. She knows why I don't go to the meeting. I told her. She's the one who, she didn't go to the elders. She did mention something, the elders did come around. I've mentioned this in one of my videos. But she, you know, I've explained to her, but obviously because of the spirit of deception and the devil blinding the mind, she just hasn't seen what I've explained to her at the time. But I did call her up because she's not been very well, and so I called to see how she was and what was going on, and we had a little chat. And obviously, because it's the convention coming up this week, in fact it's today in where we live, today's Friday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the big convention in our city where all the witnesses will be going. And so whether it was that she started on about me coming back, and you know, she said that she's so upset and she prays to Jehovah all the time, and she spoke to her husband, and her husband says to her, oh, don't worry, she'll come home, she'll come back when she's ready. And she's so worried about Armageddon coming and me being, you know, not in the organisation. So she said to me on this phone call, I want you to come home. And so I said to her, I don't view that as the organisation as my home. I don't ever think it was home to me. And I said, and it's not home because I've told you before that it's not God's organisation. And she said, please pray to Jehovah and ask him to open your heart so that you can get a clear understanding of what the truth is. And I said, well, that's what I've done and that's why I've left. So I had a conversation about certain scriptures and things, and I just said to her, I've had more prayers answered since leaving than whatever I had answered while I was in the organisation. I said, and I simply cannot return. And I said to her, we'll always be friends, me and you, because of what we've been through. But I said, I'm not coming back. And so she was quiet for a bit, and then she was in the car by now going to pick up her husband. She's getting into the car, and she said, I've got to get off because I've got to drive to pick my husband up from work. And so I said, well, you know, I'll speak to you, you know, another time. And so she said, that's fine. And so that was the end of the conversation. Now, I did message her a couple of days after, and I just said to her, I was happy to talk to you. I said it was nice to catch up with you. She did say to me while we were on the phone that we should get together and pop for something to eat and have, you know, and get together. So she did say that to me, and we do that on a regular basis, every once a month or something like that now, because she's married and she's got a lot on, and she's not young either. She's in her 70s, so she just got married, and you know, she's not so good in her health at the moment. So it's been about once a month when we've been able to sort of get together and you know, meet up. So I'm hoping that will be. But I did message her and said, you know, it was lovely to have a quick catch up with you, and hear that you and your husband are well. And but she didn't reply to that message. Now, there could be a number of reasons for that, because sometimes she doesn't reply for a while, and then she suddenly says, oh, I didn't see that, you know, or she'll message me and say, are you all right, darling? Are you okay? And I did say to her, because she's the only one. You know, I made that video where I said nobody's asked me if I wanted to go to the convention or invite me back. Not that I want to go, but she was the only, she's been the only person out of everybody who said to me, you know, please come to the convention. Are you going? Do you want to sit? Do you want to come and watch it at our house if I'm not watching it? And she's the only one who's invited me. And, you know, and I said this, nobody else has asked. And she said to me, people have asked how you are. People have asked if I've seen you. I said, but they're not asking me. They've asked you, not me. I says, that's not showing love. So as far as I'm concerned, not that, as I said, I would go, but so I'm going to leave the ball now in her court and see what happens, because obviously she'll be going to the convention and they'll be saying whatever they tell them about people who've left and things like that. So I'm going to just leave the ball in her court and see what happens with regard to you know, things that I've said to her, because I've showed her scriptures and things like that, and you know, every day I make it a matter of prayer that the spirit of deception be lifted, and that that she can see the truth of the Watchtower. There's something wrong, because she's been in it longer than I have. She wasn't in it in 1975 when all that went off, but she got baptised in the 80s. So, you know, she must now see that there are prophecies that haven't come true and things like that. But I've got a text, and I'm going to make a video about what happened to her when she was disfellowshipped, because it was absolutely disgraceful what happened to her. And she wrote a text to the elders, and I've mentioned this before, and it's very interesting what she said about the organisation in that message. So I've got that on my phone, so when I do my next video on disfellowshipping, I'm going to bring out that. So that's her. So the other friend is a friend who I spend a lot of time with, and I've mentioned her before. She's the one who's got, I think I mentioned her on the video that I did, the interview with Karen, and I said, you know, she's got her own business, and she goes to the Kingdom Hall. She was brought up in the organisation, and most of her family are involved in the organisation, including her daughter, who's married to an elder, and they've just become missionaries in India. So, you know, there's very strong connections to the organisation there. And she's the one who doesn't know that I don't attend the meeting. She's never, and I've not been going for over 2 years. Well, it's with the COVID, but I stopped having all association in the about August 2022. So it's coming up to 2 years now since I've not been involved with the Watchtower. And so she is, because I'm making plans to get married, and she's all for that. She loves a wedding, so she said, you know, can I be a wedding planner? So she's going to be she is the wedding planner, and so she said, come round and we'll talk about what we're going to be doing for your wedding and stuff like that. So I went round, and she got on about the convention and said, you know, about, she was looking at what she was having to wear and how she was having her nails done, her eyelashes and and everything that wasn't spiritual. She didn't mention anything spiritual about it. I've got 2 drinks here going at the same time. This is a nice fruity drink. Yeah, so she asked me what I was working, and I said, well, I'm working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is the convention days. And she never said anything about, aren't you going to the convention, or anything like that. Now, I'd prayed about this, and I said, for the time being, can you just not make a focus on anything to do with me going to the convention? Because I'm going to try and set some seeds. So she never said anything about me saying that I was working the whole of the convention. And she just, said about what she's going to be wearing and getting the family ready and all that sort of thing. So I have tried to say things to her in the past that she's always said. She questions things. It's not just about that. I talked to her about the New World Order and the UN agenda, and she sort of said, oh, where are you getting all this from? It's all conspiracy theories. So, and she questions everything apart from the Watchtower Society. So I was wondering what I could say to her about what I'm now doing. So I said to her, we sat having coffee and we got the wedding stuff out, and I said to her, what do you think about the Watchtower having a property company? And so she said, what do you mean, a property company? And she said, what do you mean, like to sell the to sell the Kingdom Halls and everything? And I said, well, no, it's to sell luxury apartments in London. And so she said, well, what do you mean? So I said, well, they have got a real estate business where they are selling luxury apartments in North London. I said, and this company is called IBSA Properties, which stands for International Bible Students Association Properties. Now, if you don't know about this and you're watching this video, I've got a video about this. It's called The Shameless Greed of the Watchtower Society. So if you've not watched that video, I think I highly recommend you go and watch it, because it exposes the Watchtower Society as being a business owner and using the contributions that it gets from its members to buy and sell luxury properties. So she went on the defensive and said, where have you got this information from? And so I said, well, somebody showed it to me. And I then looked into it to see if it was true. And so she said, because she works in IT as well, she's an IT specialist, and she knows how the internet, how people can set up fake accounts and things like that. She knows that, she's seen it. So that was the first reaction. Well, is it really them? Is it someone who set it up in their name using the Watchtower credentials to, make its business seem credible? And I said, well, it could be that, but I don't think so. I said, because to do that to such a mighty organisation as the Watchtower Society, the Watchtower Society would be aware of this. This is happening It's not just in the United Kingdom where this is happening. They have a big one in Brooklyn real estate, and I know that they've got them all over the world. In most countries, they will have property companies like IBSA Properties. And so anybody setting these up in the name of the Watchtower would face the mighty hand of the Watchtower lawyers very, very quickly. They know everything that's going on. And so the very fact that it leads to jw.org, and there are things on the website to encourage them to contribute to jw.org and the Watchtower funds, shows that no fake religion is going to be telling people to donate their money to the Watchtower. It's just not. So she did say to me, well, what do they call it? IBSA Property. And I said yes. She says, I'm going to look into this. But then she sort of got distracted with the convention and everything else. So whether she actually does look into it, but when the convention's over, I will be saying to her, did you manage to look into it? And I could drop in a few more seeds on her plate, but it was quite interesting because I've started fasting for prayer because I realised that the early Christians fasted for prayer, and the reason that they fasted is because whenever God's people faced important decisions or faced something that was bad that was happening to them and they were under great threat, they put on sackcloth and ashes and fasted. And this was done for, we know that Esther fasted before going in before King Ahasuerus, her husband, about what was happening with the Jews after Haman, brought them into a situation where they were going to be destroyed. So she fasted for 3 days with all her ladies. And, after Jonah went to Nineveh, that king of Nineveh proclaimed a fast where they all put on sackcloth and ashes. And even the animals fasted in Nineveh, and this turned away God's anger, and he did not destroy Nineveh. So fasting had a great effect on the prayer of people because it is a declaration of humility towards the Lord. And the apostles fasted. The Apostle Paul fasted. The Bible shows that fasting is an important part, and it has great import to prayer because it is a mark of humility. And when I spoke to my fiancé Paul about that I was fasting for prayer, he said, I don't see what being hungry does good. It does. I said to him, it's nothing to do with being hungry. It is to do with humility before God. And it is a sign of humility and willingness to go without for spiritual reasons, so that your prayers are heard in humility by God. So I was fasting. So what I do now is I have Wednesdays as a fasting day, and it's a day when I have extended prayer to the Lord. So when I was at her house, I was fasting. So she asked me if I would like breakfast. So she was having some food. And I said, no, I'm fasting today. So she said, oh. She didn't say anything for a while. Then she said, why are you fasting? Is it intermittent fasting that you're doing, for losing weight? Because I don't need to lose weight. I'm very slim. So she said, what's all this fasting about? And I said, I'm fasting for prayer. And she said, fasting for prayer, what's all that about? And I said to her, well, if you go into the Bible, you'll see that the early Christians fasted. They fasted when they had things that were very important to discuss with the Lord, like opening up new areas and praying for people in particular, congregations that were being established, and they wanted God to hear their prayers. They fasted. It was a powerful tool. And so I said this to her, and she said, it sounds like you belong to a different religion. And so I said, well, I feel for me, it's important to do and to follow the biblical teachings, no matter what religion you're in. And so as the moment passed, she just went, oh, okay. So when I called in to see her the next day, because I'd got the wedding book to take round, and she said to me, are you fasting today, or can you have something? And I said, no, I'm not fasting today. I said, I finished the fast. So she said, oh, right, so you can, I can give you some biscuits then. And so these sort of things will make her think. She's very distracted because she was very distracted because she was got things to get ready for the convention today. This was yesterday morning. I also was busy, so I said to her, I can't stay very long. But I know that she will think about the things I'm saying. And so yesterday, I was talking to her about, because she had a blocked drain and she couldn't stop it. She was like me when I had that blocked drain, and I mentioned the blocked drain that I had in a video, and I prayed about it. And the next day, a water authority van pulled up outside, went to the house next door. If you've seen that video, where I tell what happened, but it was nothing to do with my drain, but the guy came and unblocked my drain. I just said to him, and I'd really prayed about it. So she said to me, I told her the whole account, what happened and how it happened and what was said. And she said to me, I don't believe that was a coincidence that van pulled up. She says, what are the odds of that happening? She says, that was definitely your prayer being answered. So I will continue to talk to her and try and reach her heart. In the meantime, she is the subject of the extended prayer when I am fasting, along with my other friend, 2 friends. So the other one is the one I meet every week on Thursday for lunch. And she's decided that she's not going to attend the convention at all in person. She said, I don't want to go there. I'm going to just listen to it at home. I don't want to, be among all those people. She's the one who's a little bit disgruntled with things. And so she said, her and another friend of mine, she's not going to attend either. They are going to watch it or listen to it at home. That is a big step for them, because when other people have done this, they've said, no, you know, you need to be there, you need to get God's Spirit and this, that and the other. And now both of them have decided that they're not going to attend the convention. Now, the convention centre is less than 2 miles from where one of them lives. It's about 1 mile away, 1.5 miles away. And the other one, it's about 3 miles away. So it's not like you're having to get and travel a long way, a long drive. It's literally a 15-minute drive in heavy traffic to get there. So this is a major departure for both of these, and I believe that this is going to be happening with a lot of people. I believe that the conventions are being condensed to get a wider areas, to get them built fuller, so that the Jehovah's Witnesses don't realise that there's not as many people there anymore. So that's where it stands, and that's what's happened to me this week with my friends. When I talked to them about, you know, when I was seed setting and talking to them, my fiance Paul said to me, you know, I told him about that I'd been to see her, and he said, don't you think that you ought to say to her that you're not going? And how will she feel when she finds out that you're not going? And I said, I'll tell her when I'm not going, when the Lord directs me to tell her that I'm not going. But at the moment, I'm going to leave things as they are, and I'm going to continue to the way things are with her, and because I think it's going to be something that makes her think. And, you know, she's asked me things before, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And if I said to her, oh, do you fancy studying the Bible with me a bit? I need someone to just study the Bible with. And she'd say, oh yeah, I'd love it, I'd love that. Because she likes studying. And it was interesting that she said to me, I've not done any studying for a long time. And she also told me that she hasn't put any contributions into the Watchtower Society for a long time. So she stopped contributing to the Watchtower financially, even though she has her own business and her husband does a really good job. She's not contributing, and for some reason, and she's not studying the Bible either. So maybe I'm going to continue to pray about the situation, that the Lord opens her heart and mind to what the Watchtower is doing, and maybe she will wake up soon, because, you know, that's not the kind of thing that a devoted Jehovah's Witnesses are doing. They don't stop contributing financially, and they don't stop studying. So what's going on there? Watch this space. So that's what's happened to me this week. I'm going to be finishing my part 2 video on disfellowshipping and its rotten fruitage. And so if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and keep watching. And until the next time, I'll say bye.